Hello. Glad you were able to break your journey here. Shall I take your hat and coat? You know everybody here, don't you? No, of course you don't. Mrs. Lionel Waddell.
How are you?
Mr. and Mrs. Paxton.
How do you do?
Oh, and you know Phyllis. And this is Frank Morley.
How do you do?
Sorry we seem so startled, but we'd just been listening to a ghost story on the radio. Coffee or drink?
Brandy, please. And what was the general reaction?
Well, they really told it jolly well.
The ghost stories annoy me intensely. It's so easy for an author to send shivers up your spine without ever having to explain any of it. All he usually does is throw in a thumping coincidence, a ghostly laugh, and that's the end.
Well, I don't know. I rather enjoyed it.
Well, ghosts always give me the creeps, and I don't mind admitting it.
Well, it seems to have given you a thoroughly disquieting half hour by the look of you.
It was well acted, yes, and entertaining. Nothing more. Ghost stories make very popular reading. If it says something to the public, they continue in favor. Personally, I can't say that I agree with them.
Well, I prefer a really good murder, especially at the cinema.
Well, does anyone take film stories seriously? Especially those about ghosts. In any case, who's ever seen a ghost?
I have.
What?
Do you mean to tell us you've really seen a ghost?
I do. I wasn't alone. Phyllis saw it too.
Not really.
Where did it happen, dear? Do tell us.
You better ask John about that.
Oh, I'm afraid I'm not much of a hand at storytelling. Why don't you ask George? He knows all about it.
You tell us then.
Where did this remarkable experience occur?
Well, come on, my good chap. Out with it. Which house was it?
This one. Well, it was in the early spring, and John and Phyllis were house hunting. They'd only been married a short while, and they were still without a home of their own. Day after day, they trudged around. John had just been transferred to his firm's head office, and trying to get a flat was a hopeless proposition. In short, the outlook was pretty black. Indeed, they had nearly given up hope, when one day, as they were driving, Phyllis suddenly spotted another house agent. So they decided to have one last try.
Come in, come in. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I was wondering whether you might have anything available in the way of...
Accommodation? No, sorry.
Well, I thought perhaps you might have something. I don't mind what it is, as long as it has 4 walls and a roof. In fact, somewhere to live. Cigarette?
No, thanks. Don't smoke.
Well, thanks all the same.
Just a minute. I think I've got something. No promises, mind, so don't be too hopeful.
Really?
You think so?
Well, just a minute. This is only a suggestion. Have you a car?
Outside.
All right, come on. No promises, mind.
Oh, no, of course not.
No.
And so John and Phyllis felt that perhaps now their luck was at last turning. And it was with some small excitement that Phyllis, determined to keep the agent in as good a humor as she could, talked spiritedly to him, hoping all the while that he would continue to be helpful.
Remember, I told you not to be too hopeful.
But...
Well, of course, why not wait to see the inside? You never know.
Darling, I don't think...
Darling, I understand. But once we're here, it can't hurt to go in, can it?
Well, if you want to.
It's a bit old, isn't it?
As a matter of fact, it is old, but it's very interesting. About 200 years, 17-something. It's been added to and altered from time to time. Let me see, there's something along here somewhere. It's something with a date on. Ah, yes, I remember. It's somewhere along here. Just come along. They knew how to build houses in those days, you know. None of your jerry building. Oh, look. Oh, here we are. Oh, dear. It seems to be covered up. Ronaldo Zapata. 1776, 1827. Isn't that interesting? Now, shall we see inside the house? Yes. Oh, yes.
Necromancer. One who draws power from evil.
Well, here we have the main hall. And over here we have Do you mind? I feel I'll be getting back. Perhaps you'd like to look around yourself. You can drop the keys in any time you like in the morning. I can get a bus at the bottom of the road here. You don't mind, do you? Good day.
Come on.
I'd rather not.
Oh, don't be a silly. What are you afraid of? Come on.
Half a loaf was better than no bread. And John had quickly pointed out to Phyllis the possibilities of the place, and with his usual inventiveness, had adapted a part of the house for their needs.
off, dear. Anything else you want besides that paint?
No, thanks. Oh, yes. Would you call in at the station and see if those plants have arrived?
Right, dear.
Darling. Kiss, please.
Ramersham Hall.
Ramersham Hall.
Ramersham Hall.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes, it might have been this. Or was it? And if it wasn't this, what was it?
Oh, go on, then.
All in good time, Mr. Morley. The shadows were gathering fast, and dark clouds scudded across the night sky as Phyllis walked homewards. Meanwhile, John had settled down with a book and was quietly reading.
Is that you, Phyllis? Phyllis!
What's the matter, John? Oh, you're as cold as ice. What's the matter, darling?
It is you, darling, isn't it?
Of course it's me.
Thank heaven.
What is it? You look as if you've seen a ghost.
I thought I had.
This was no small experience for John, and he debated with himself as to whether he should worry Phyllis with what might, after all, have been just his imagination. Yes, that was it. Imagination. Well, imagination or not, he decided to say nothing about it. So, later that night...
Do you mind if I go up, darling? I'm awfully tired.
All right. I'll just lock up.
What is it?
I don't know. I'm going to find out.
Wait for me.
You stay in bed. I'll be all right.
John. John.
No, darling. You stay here.
This time it wasn't imagination. This time both had seen and heard. This time John had nothing to hide from his wife. Was there a mystery of Rammelsham Hall? What dark secrets were locked up within those walls? And with the dawn of a new day, the shadows of that night became less of a reality.
Well, Pulpit, everything's going to be all right.
Ready, darling?
Right with you.
What are you looking at?
Oh, nothing.
Come on, darling. Tea's getting cold.
I got your 2 cases out and my large brown leather one. That ought to hold about all we need. How long will it take you to be ready?
Well, I'll have to wash up these things, stop the milk, and fold the bacon.
No, darling, you can do all that from the hotel.
Darling.
You do that. I've got something I want to see about.
Some hours later, John and Phyllis were safely installed at an inn in the nearby county town, and John had leisure to examine the letters more closely. They appeared to be love letters written by a man to a woman called Mariana. Letters that told of an illicit intrigue of many years past. From odd phrases and allusions, John gathered that the writer was a seaman. Then in one letter, a name caught his eye. Rinaldo. The name on the plaque outside the house. For the first time in his life, John began to experience fear. A fear of the intangible. But fear it was. One thought struck him forcibly. Was he to conquer it, or it conquer him? If fear of the unknown can be conquered. John decided to consult a friend whom he knew to be interested in psychical phenomena, and after he'd outlined the situation, he had little difficulty in persuading his friend to drive down to see him.
I thought it would be more pleasant to have coffee out here, dear.
Yes.
Cold?
No, darling. Actually, it's quite warm. But I suddenly went all cold. It's past now. I thought you didn't like brandy.
I don't. That's not for me.
The brandy is for me, my dear.
Oh, darling, this is Dr. Clinton, who took over Uncle George's practice. Doctor, my wife, Phyllis.
Mrs. Stanton.
How do you do?
Well, now, John, how do you think that I can help you?
Well, as a matter of fact, there's nothing more to add. But, there's this book, which I told you about.
And are you perfectly satisfied that these manifestations were not, in fact, imagination?
Oh, no.
Certainly not.
Dreams can be very deceptive, you know. You can easily imagine afterwards that you were awake, when in point of fact you were not.
But we both couldn't have dreamt it.
And you think these phenomena stem from the tragedy which is described in this book?
As I see it, Sabata came back and murdered his wife and the sailor.
And murdered them both?
Yes.
But then why wasn't the body of the sailor ever found, John?
Well, Sabata must have buried it near the house.
Or in the house?
That's right. All the time I was there, I was conscious of a force, as if a tremendous will were at work. A will more powerful, more ruthless than anything I've ever known, or want to know.
Well, we shan't get much further sitting here, shall we?
I think I should shut the window, don't you?
If you like.
What are you doing?
We've got to help them.
Help them? What do you mean?
It's better that way. Believe me. What's in here?
I don't know. An old lumber room, I imagine. It was locked when we came.
We'll have that lock off in the morning and take a look. Now we can just settle down to wait.
Right, now. There's something here. Seaweed. And it's still wet.
Yes, it's still wet.
But how did it get here? The nearest sea is over 70 miles away.
Ronaldo's wife died because she loved a sailor. Remember?
I say, Clinton, look here.
What is it?
There's something. It's a sort of crystal saucer with a needle like a compass floating about in it. Look, the needle swinging about.
There's something else there, too. Agate.
Look, why is it doing this?
On all that it can reach within these walls, as moves the needle, so work my will. Accursed be this house, and restless be the dwellers therein. Ronaldo Sabata.
Phyllis!
Oh, John. I was worried. I had to come. What's happened?
A lot. We've just found this. Anyway, we've still got this.
And what do you think of that, Mr. Morley?
I must admit you told the story most convincingly, Clinton. There were moments when you had me almost half believing.
But you still remain a skeptic, eh?
My dear chap, you don't really suppose me to be so gullible as to believe a story like that, do you?
I told you it was a true story, Morley.
But John still has the book, hasn't he?
That is what's called a dramatic license. I suppose we should be told that ever since the breaking of the saucer, the hauntings have stopped.
Well, as a matter of fact, they have.
Just as I thought. Very convenient get out.
He's got you there, you know.
Difficult to know what to think, isn't it, Mother?
How do you account for this?
Yes. There's the little book.
And the curse in it, just as we found it. On all that it can reach within these walls, as moves the needle, so work my will. Accursed be this house, and restless be the dwellers therein. Rinaldo Zapata.
The stage props. Very clever. Surely if that were genuine, the hauntings would continue. John says they don't.
Yes, but we haven't seen a ghost. If we had, we might believe in it.
Yes. That's true.
I think so, too.
So you see, Clinton,